some of the heaviest rainfall. And again, this rain is coming down fast and furious. If you are traveling right now, especially right along the interstates or any of the U.S. pathways, there's definitely going to be some ponding of water on the roadway. There is no doubt about that. There's going to be a lot of reduced visibility. And of course, we're also going to have some strong winds associated with this as well as it begins to move through. So our first view, if you will, that I think we're going to get from our camera network here is likely going to be either from our Bridgepoint camera here, or actually I think it's probably going to be more in line with our Clinton camera because that's located a little bit closer to where the actual storms are right now. So we're going to check back in with that in just a second. I'm going to get it repositioned for us here so we can see what's going on in that region in terms of what the water is looking like. That'll give us a good estimation of the wind speed. Looks like it is raining in Clinton right now. I'm seeing some rainfall on the camera lens itself. I'm going to shoot you back to live Doppler radar and then we'll take a look at that storm. Actually, I'll pull them both up here so you can see them kind of side by side. Let's scroll down a little further. There we go. So let's pull down the radar again. We'll go back to Clinton and I can show you what that's looking like in their skies because they're the closest to this complex of storms coming in. So give it just a second. It'll load on the left-hand side of your screen as this storm continues to work in there. There you see the base of that cloud, and then beyond that is just a deluge of rainfall, likely some really strong gusty winds as well. So this is a more westward view from our Clinton, Iowa weather camera. I got a little bit of an obstruction with the roof there, but that gives you a good idea of what's going on with that particular storm. Also a lot of turbulence being shown in the clouds there. If we were to put that on a loop, it would look like you were sitting under a wave in the bottom of the ocean under the water. So very turbulent skies. That tells us there's definitely a lot of instability that is certainly being realized. So let's go back to the radar. See the latest update on the hail situation as to, in terms of what we've got going on. Also, one of our storm chasers is out right now in the Milan area, so he's sitting and waiting for these storms to come through. Hats tip Justin, thank you very much for getting a hold of me there. We'll see what he has to say as these storms continue to push in. So let's get you a quick update. We've expired the severe thunderstorm warning that was for Whiteside County, also for a good chunk of Clinton County. That has been let go, it looks like. But we're still hanging on to this severe thunderstorm warning here for the immediate Quad Cities, and that's going to go for about 15 more minutes. For mainly the threat as of right now, it appears is going to be the damaging wind threat. I didn't see too much hail. In terms of that, looks like that's winding down. There you see another little hail core starting to develop just to east of town of Eldridge. But for the most part, our hail threat here in the Quad Cities is decreasing quite rapidly. So there's some good news there. Still, though, we do have that threat for 60 to 70 mile per hour wind gusts that'll be pushing through in a little under 10 minutes from now. So make sure you're staying away from windows regardless if it's going to be hailing quarter-size hailstones or not. But there you see another little elevated area of hail. Let's put this into perspective. It's just east of Eldridge, so this will be heading for Port Byron and Cordova. Hail size, I'm willing to bet, is probably just under an inch. Yep, just barely. So we'll see if this hangs on. If it intensifies anymore, they're probably going to need to issue another warning for areas north of the Quad Cities back into Whiteside County. But as of right now, that doesn't look super impressive on the hail chart there. But yeah, there's a good rush of wind that's getting ready to enter us here in the immediate Quad Cities, just moments away, about 5 minutes away or so from seeing some of the stronger winds up to 60 miles per hour. Still no reports coming in, thankfully, so that's good. We're not seeing any damage as of right now. Only report that I still have in the box here is in from Muscatine earlier. That was about 15, 20 minutes ago where we saw some quarter-size hail. So let me widen out the picture here so you can see what's going on. We still have some energy. That is a little area of low pressure that's sitting over Des Moines right now. And as long as that stays off to the west, that's going to keep the door open for the possibility of seeing a few storm clusters. So there's where the energy is right now. Here's complex number 1 of storms moving through at present time. We've got more storms starting to develop here to the west of that. And as long as that energy is still kind of chilling just to the west of us late this morning into the early afternoon, that's going to provide that focus that we see, the continued threat of some strong to severe storms. So a reminder, this was the latest outlook that came out at 8 o'clock this morning. We'll get another one here at 11:30. That if your Quad Cities points east, you're still under that risk for additional severe storm development as we go into the early afternoon. And damaging wind gusts, that's going to be our primary area of concern, especially in the hot pink where you've got those hatch marks, those vertical black lines. That's where we're likely going to see some of those 70+ mile per hour wind gusts become a realization as we go into the afternoon, early afternoon especially. Tornado risk today, it's not zero, but it is also not very high. It's only a 2% chance for an isolated tornado, and that's for the areas that are located in yellow here on your screen. So already a very busy morning here in the Quad Cities as we continue to watch this line come through. Let's go back to radar. Let's put the loop on it. We got a new severe thunderstorm warning. That's outside the News 8 viewing area, so we're going to let Rockford take that one over. But still some very heavy rain falling in Carroll County, especially Chadwick through Lanark and Shannon. You remember earlier there we were watching for the hail potential. It looks like that's also declining near Lanark and Shannon, so that's some good news there. But further to the south and to the west, looks like storms are starting to break up a little bit more for Clinton and Comanche and Lowmore, but still some strong activity pushing through the immediate Quad Cities right now, and that's why we're continuing to stay with you with this particular warning. Because with all this energy sitting overhead, if one of these storms were to grab onto some of these strong winds that are streaming in aloft, we could really be in a fairly dangerous position of seeing those 60 to 70 mile per hour wind gusts ramp up a little bit more as these storms continue to push through. So I'm going to switch us back outside again, take a live look at what's happening because the storms are getting closer to the immediate Quad Cities. It looks like we've got a little bit of rain falling in the background there, but sky is looking a little bit less dark compared to what we had earlier. So again, we're going to kind of keep an eye on this for the next few minutes. That warning will expire at 10:45. In fact, there's an update from the National Weather Service. We've gone ahead and canceled the severe thunderstorm warning for Louisa and Muscatine County. So that's some good news there. Let's go back to the radar and see if that's going to be reflected on our mapping software here, which it should momentarily. They've gone ahead and let that expire. So that would have been the warning that was down here as you go towards Aledo. Just to the west of Preemption. This is the one that it appears they're going to let go a little bit ahead of schedule. So the severe threat looks like it's decreasing there. And if we actually look at the hail potential and the hail size, yeah, you're noticing not that great at all. That's really starting to wind down. So there's some good news there. So now we just focus our attention on this one severe thunderstorm warning. Again, it does include the Quad Cities. Right now, the strongest part of the storm is right over top of Bluegrass. Torrential rainfall likely coming out of this. And we can tell you how much rain is falling at this time if we put up the rainfall rate, where you're seeing those really hot colors, the hot pinks and purples. That is some very heavy rainfall just to the east of town, almost 2 inches per hour. So there's likely a lot of ponding going on with the roadways here, especially as you head west towards Bluegrass and Montpelier, also to the north of Andalusia. Some very difficult travel likely ongoing at this time. Some of the traffic cameras may be in the immediate vicinity. Sometimes we can get kind of a unique look. There's a live look at I-280. This is near Rockingham Road, where you're seeing certainly some wet pavement there. But don't have anything further west to look at, it looks like, as of right now. And of course, we're waiting here in the immediate Quad Cities for this rain to begin. So this severe thunderstorm warning, it's going to go until 10:45. We've got just a few more minutes left on that. And then we'll see if they issue another one downstream. But as of right now, the hail potential really starting to wane. I'm going to pull up the wind pattern here too, what we call the wind velocity. And I don't see anything too crazy on that either. But certainly that potential is there. When you have all this storm energy sitting around, you can quickly grab onto some of those stronger winds aloft and really start to bring those down to the surface. So a couple of updates here. You can call the all clear now for Whiteside County. That warning has gone a little bit early. They've let that expire. We're also calling the all clear for parts of Carroll County. You are now no longer under that severe thunderstorm warning. Also parts of Clinton County, you are now also out of that severe thunderstorm warning. So the all clear for you. We're not all clear yet for the Quad Cities. That warning continues until 10:45. However, this warning down here for Aledo, New Boston, Joy, right into Mercer County, and also parts of Louisa. Well, it looks like it's now on the east side of the river, so let's go Mercer County. That warning has been allowed to go a little bit early as well because the hail potential is really starting to ramp down. So we'll stick with you just for a few more minutes here as this storm begins to enter the immediate Quad Cities, just in case we get a sudden little burst of wind energy that decides it wants to get a little bit closer to the surface. Again, a lot of heavy rain, a lot of lightning being reported with these storms, and actually a good example of the lightning this morning. Notice this lightning bolt here that's just east of Morrison, well ahead of the line of the storms. That's what we call one of those bolt out of the blue lightning bolts. and just gives you a sign that these storms are very tall into the atmosphere and are utilizing a lot of energy. So if you can hear thunder, a good reminder you need to be inside in a sturdy shelter as these storms continue to push through. So let's put the loop on this. We'll go back one more time, check the hail potential, and if it appears that is settling down, then we'll get you back to programming and the view, because it does look like the storms are starting to lose some intensity, which is some good news. But again, we're not out of the woods yet. We have another round that's likely going to be coming in as we go through the afternoon. So there you see some intensity being lost a little bit as the storm is working here into the Quad Cities. Still some very heavy rain getting ready to track right along Interstate 88 into Whiteside County, Morrison, Prophetstown, Erie. You're going to see that in about the next half hour. Let's get one last track on here. Let's pause the loop, get the little tracking tool, and here we go. Let's put that right to the east here. Oop, not what I wanted there. That's what happens when you click a little too fast. Okay, let's try this again. Get this a little bit further east. So here's the heavy rain and potentially winds up to 50 miles an hour. Sterling about 30 minutes away from you. Tampico 35 minutes, and then it hops over to Lee County on the Illinois side of the river. Dixon about 40 minutes away from you. Let's go further to the south here. Again, tracking this severe thunderstorm racing right through the Quad Cities. Winds up to 60 miles an hour. Looks like the hail threat is quickly dissipating. And here we got some rain on our Bridgepoint camera. So we'll go to that in a second. There you see the timing for that. It's in the Quad Cities right now. And we're going to take a live look at that here. Let me go back to Bridgepoint and see what we've got going on outside. There it is. Yeah, very heavy rain starting to fall. You can barely see in the distance there the rest of the river. You got the old I-74 bridge on the bottom of your screen there. Bill, if you can hear me in the director's, but I'm not sure if we can pan a little bit to the right, kind of give me a little bit more of a view of the old and the new bridge. Kind of curious to see what the visibility is doing right now. That's perfect. Thank you. There you see, you can barely see the other side of the river, the Iowa side there. So very heavy rain, though at least right now, I am not seeing a whole lot of wind. Based on the movement of those trees or lack thereof. So that's some good news, and that shows us that the wind signature is starting to decline a little bit more too. So one last time here, we're going to let that severe thunderstorm warning go, it looks like at 10:45. I don't have any new information from the National Weather Service that indicates that they're going to extend that or issue another one downstream. So that's some good news. We are seeing that storm weaken very quickly. But again, could get a good rush of wind here in the next few minutes for the immediate Quad Cities and then into Kelowna and Geneseo. Let's put another track on that for you here real quick as we extend it a little further east. So in the Quad Cities now, Kelowna about 10:58. About 20 minutes from now, Geneseo, a little bit after the 11 o'clock hour, about 11:15 for the timing on that. A little further south, this storm to the west of US 67 as you go towards Preemption, about 11 o'clock for its arrival there. Orion at about 11:08, and then into areas south of Atkinson, about 11:30. And this, again, is all likely going to hold together. We've got enough storm energy for that to happen. This severe thunderstorm warning has been canceled down here towards Aledo and also parts of Mercer County, so we're going to let that go. And again, I think the National Weather Service is going to go ahead and let this one go here, this severe thunderstorm warning for the immediate Quad Cities. I have not gotten any further reports, and there's the update. The warning has been allowed to expire. So some good news. We no longer have any severe thunderstorm warnings for any of the News 8 viewing area. Still, though, you can count on us to keep an eye on these storms as they push off to the east, and we'll certainly let you know both right here on air and online if we have any further updates to pass along in terms of increasing wind speeds or large hail. So we'll send it back to the view, and we'll see you right back here for Good Morning Quad Cities at 11.
You nervous?
It's finally here. My lifelong dream of being in the FBI. We got this. We're feds.